I don't know how the rest of the week is going to go, but if this is how we're going to start out the football week, it's going to be a great week. The Kansas City Chiefs passing game looks much improved. The Ravens have some issues that need to be fixed, but they had a lot of things that look very good. NFL football is back, and the biggest winners in all of this is us, because now we have college football and we have the NFL to talk about. So let's get into the game. A game that was a great way to start out the NFL season. Both QBs played well. Lamar Jackson is still Lamar. He has some things to clean up, but the guy was balling the entire time. Mahomes made some key plays down the stretch like he always does, but he did have a mistake in this game as well. And we're going to talk about both teams, what I really like about the Ravens, what I really like about the Kansas City Chiefs, some things that I have concerns about, all of that in this video. But before we get into it, make sure that you guys help a brother out. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment down below your thoughts and opinions on this game. And with that, let's get into this video. So the Ravens, a team that we know lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. They added Derrick Henry, they lost their defense coordinator, and they have a revamped offensive line. A offensive line that is going to need time to gel and mesh. They came into this game as 3-point underdog. The Kansas City Chiefs added Xavier and Hollywood Brown, lost L'Jarius Sneed, a top tier corner, but still, in my opinion, have the best interior defensive lineman in Chris Jones, who lined up at defensive end in this game as well. But don't get it twisted, the Ravens had a lot of good things that happened in this game, and the Kansas City Chiefs have some things that they need to clean up as well. It's week 1 and both of these teams are still figuring out what they want to do, when they want to do it, but both will definitely be in the mix going forward. So before the game even started, we knew we had the makings of a great game. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are on a mission, and we got to see some of what the effects of having Derrick Henry on your team can do for you. On a 3rd-and-1 play, Lamar Jackson will fake the handoff to Derrick Henry, pull the ball back, and get it easy. And when I say easy first down. And this is going to be a problem for many teams as the season goes on. Derrick Henry would go on to cap this off with a 5-yard touchdown run to make the score 7-0. Now, I'm a huge Derrick Henry fan. I made a 20-minute plus video covering the story of Derrick Henry that only got like 100 and something views, and I have high hopes for this Ravens offense. But the game as a whole for him was just okay. Not really that productive, 13 carries for 46 yards. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this offensive line still figuring things out. They had a tough time run blocking against this defensive line the Kansas City Chiefs have, which resulted in some bad runs for Derrick Henry. And I thought to myself, this is bad. This is very bad. They're still gelling and trying to figure everything out. They're going up against the best interior defensive lineman, in my opinion, in Chris Jones, which is not an easy thing to do. They did get a little bit better as the game went along, but when it came specifically to run blocking, they had a tough outing. Kansas City would match their 7 points very quickly. Xavier would have a 21-yard run, and all he felt was win because nobody was anywhere near him, and I don't think he got touched at all. I knew that this guy would be something the moment that he torched my Alabama Crimson Tide for a long touchdown in that game last year. Anyways, give it up to Andy Reid for putting his players in the best positions to succeed. Xavier is exactly what Kansas City was missing last year. The second quarter will be the battle of the field goals, with Justin Tucker missing a 50-plus yarder. He hasn't been as effective from 50-plus out as he has been in the past, but I'm pretty sure that that's just a funk because he's still one of the best kickers in the league. Harrison Buckner had 2 field goals in this second quarter to put the Chiefs up 13-7, and as soon as it looked like the Kansas City Chiefs just might go down and score again, Patrick Mahomes had a interception after staying in the pocket a little bit too long. He got hit. The Ravens would capitalize on this to get a field goal, and the halftime score would be 10-13. And coming right out of halftime, the Kansas City Chiefs did not let up at all, with big play after big play. First play was to Rashid Wright, and then another big play to Justin Watson, and just that quick, Pacheco scores. And this was the only score in the 3rd quarter. But by the end of that quarter, the Ravens would be driving the field after a good 3rd down run from Lamar Jackson, and then they would capitalize on this with a 49-yard touchdown pass completion to Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely finished the game with 9 receptions, 111 yards, and 1 touchdown. Another weapon for Lamar Jackson, who really emerged after the injury to Mark Andrews. So now the score is 17-20. Baltimore has some momentum, but them Chiefs don't let up. And the new speedster on the block, Xavier somehow, some way, is wide open. There was busted coverage on that play, and the Kansas City Chiefs would score once again. A 35-yard touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy. And then Baltimore would not simply lay down. They drive the field. Justin Tucker gets a 32-yard field goal. The Ravens defense gets a key stop on a play that honestly should have been an interception. After Mahomes grabs the football with two guys around him, good IQ play by Mahomes, but if you're the Raven defense, you had to come up with that interception. And I almost forgot to touch on this just for a second. Isaiah Pacheco got tackled but didn't get tackled. He rolled over the top of the defenders and kept going. At that point, it looked like it was just Kansas City's day. But despite that, we have some drama with a 20-27 ball game. Lamar Jackson with the ball in his hand with the game on the line. With 87 yards to go, it's time for the Lamar show. And he was able to lead them down the field after a great catch by Rashad Bateman. And the next few plays after this are going to be talked about all week. First, Lamar Jackson overthrew Isaiah Likely on this route. It's just that simple. Zay Flowers was open on another play, even though he wasn't the intended target, as we found out during the post-game presser. And then we get this. A toenail. I'm not even sure if his toe is right there. That shoe just too big. You need to go down by the half size, my guy. But this was one of those games that just makes you love the NFL, the excitement, the build-up, the great QB play. Everything was going so well if you're a fan. The ending wasn't that good for Baltimore Ravens fans, and if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you're celebrating right now. But at the end of the day, as somebody who had no dog in the fight, I enjoyed every minute of it. But if you're Lamar Jackson, you have to make those passes down the stretch. Is Lamar Jackson the only reason why they lost this game? No. He had 273 yards, 1 touchdown, and 122 yards on the ground. Madden-like play. A fantastic day for Lamar Jackson overall. Even running around in circles in the pocket, I'm looking like, is somebody controlling this man with a joystick? Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, is simply fantastic. But this is my philosophy, and you tell me if you agree or not. And I will say this does come with a few caveats, but for the most part, I think it rings true, at least for me. When teams win, most of the time, the quarterback is going to receive most of the praise. So in a loss, most of the time, a quarterback is going to deserve most of the blame. Now, there are caveats here and there. Horrible O-line play, no time to throw. But especially when your quarterback has the ball in his hands with a chance to win the game, he has to receive most of that blame. But the Ravens as a whole have to clean up the penalty. Offensive line must be better when it comes to run blocking. The play calling seems stale at some times, but maybe it's just me. They panned the camera over to Derrick Henry a couple times, and in my mind, I'm thinking, do the Ravens really know how to use him right? I don't know. I just have that weird feeling that they don't necessarily know when they want to use them, when they don't want to use them. It's weird. Maybe I'm overthinking that aspect right now because this is week 1 and there is no need to overreact to this one game. Because I saw some things that the Ravens did that I really like. New offensive coordinator Zach Orr seems to have these guys playing well. And even though they had that hiccup where Xavier Worthy was extra wide open, that led to a score. When it was time to get a stop, the key stop, they did that, and I cannot ask for more than that. I also like the progression of Isaiah Likely. So now you have him, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews as viable options for Lamar Jackson to throw to. And Derrick Henry, in my opinion, is still Derrick Henry. He's still able to move a pile when he has the opportunity to, as long as you don't have 4 or 5 guys breaking through the offensive line and he's getting tackled in the backfield. All in all, the Ravens have some things to work on, but they'll be just fine. And now the defending Super Bowl champions. I'm really impressed because it always seems like they just find a way to win. Mahomes was pretty good, going 20 for 28, 291 passing yards and a touchdown. The explosive plays are back thanks to Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown. Rashee Rice is adding to what was his breakout year last year. He had 103 yards in this game. Kelsey didn't have a fantastic game, but that just goes to show you Kelsey doesn't have to be the focal point anymore. And at some point in time, they're going to forget about Kelsey. I don't know how they do it, but the man is just wide open all the time. I don't know how they forget about him, but at some point in time, they're going to forget about him. And he's going to be wide open for a touchdown. But they did have some drops in this game. I know that gave some Chiefs fans some PTSD. Mahomes had an interception while trying to hold the ball a little bit too long, but His pocket presence is still unmatched. I saw some times in this game where he stepped up right on time. He did exactly what he needed to do. He knew when to leave the pocket, when not to leave the pocket. Like I said, it's the first week. Certain things are going to happen. But the Kansas City Chiefs, like I said earlier, explosive plays are back. And this is something that they have been working towards all offseason long. And I do not believe we have seen half of what they have in store. I believe they will get better as the season goes on because they have a lot of new pieces. The defense is still going strong. I know. They gave up 100 rushing yards to Lamar Jackson, but it's Lamar Jackson. And the most important thing is that I don't think a lot of people are thinking about when it comes to this defense is the fact that they bended a little bit, but they didn't break. And if they can somehow match or even get somewhat close to the way they were last year, it's going to be a problem for the NFL. You have the creativity of a Andy Reid offense having everything that he needs in order to manipulate plays, go down the field, make the deep route work. You have a running game. You have the best QB in the game. Now, we have a long way to go before we even get close to the playoffs, but at the end of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs answered one of the questions that a lot of people had going forward. Could they reopen this offense? And against a pretty good defense, they were able to do that. But there's still things for both teams to figure out. And I think it's going to be very interesting to watch these teams as the NFL season progresses. And they probably will see each other again. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And if you made it this far, much respect.